thank you for joining in. My name is Adesh. I am the principal investigator for Algonquin College's Data Analytics Center, as well as part-time professor with the School of Media and Design. I also run workshops about machine learning, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. One of my favorite workshops is about teaching you how to use Python for AI. This workshop is the first in a series of 3 workshops that will teach some Python basics that you can use for many purposes. So let us get started. So what will you learn today by end of the workshop? First, basically what Python is and what you can do with it. We will also cover basic Python syntax and structures. And lastly, how to create and run Python programs. Now, why does coding matter? So coding is the new literacy. Once you learn how to code, you become accustomed to a structured way of handling problems. This helps you to program your brain into segmenting issues into pieces. You become a logical thinker, and this helps you to be more creative in your solutions. There are millions of careers where you can earn a lot of money and make a difference that use Python. So once you learn one programming language, you can basically pick up any new language easily. So I want to take a moment and ask you, have you coded before? If yes, what languages have you used and what have you built with it? Write down your answer in the comments below and I would love to read them. So artificial intelligence might sound like something from the future, but it's actually all around you. Siri and Alexa, for example, use a type of AI called natural language processing to listen to spoken words and respond to them. Netflix is another example that uses artificial intelligence to predict what you like to watch. That's where the 77% match rating comes from. It's like a recommendation system that even works in Amazon. That is even there in the Amazon. Capital One Eno tool helps you determine if someone has stolen your credit card number and to manage your finances using machine learning and natural language processing. There are many things you will need to learn to be able to write your own artificial intelligence applications. In this series, we are going to start with the basics. So today, we will cover the basics of writing code in Python, and in the later workshops, we will use a natural language processing library to create a bot of your favorite Twitter celebrity. So you're going to learn the fundamentals of Python by writing various Python scripts and running them in the console. Now the key term console is an application that runs Python files. We're going to follow a set of steps. The first step is to sign up for Glitch. Now Glitch is something that you can write your code in the browser itself. So you don't need to install any softwares or dependencies on your laptop. We're going to copy the code. What I mean by copy the code is you're going to clone the code from my repository, from my glitch to your own glitch. So you have the copy of the code and you can play around. You can play around and write the code with me. We're going to learn the basics of Python. We're also going to cover a few Python functions. We're going to format the information. We're going to review what we have learned. And we're going to follow the next steps. So what are the next steps in workshop 2 we're going to cover? So let's get started. So what is Python? So Python is an interpreted high-level coding language. It was invented by Guido van Rossum in 1991. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Python can be used to make web pages, apps, and scripts. I have used Python for multiple purposes like data cleaning, machine learning, writing machine learning algorithms, data visualization, sentiment analysis. And today you're learning some Python basics today as a building blocks to go on and learn more about machine learning AI later in your academic career. So we're going to cover a wide variety of Python tools. So first is variables. So what are variables? So variables in programming are a lot like variables in the math. They store information for us. Loops are are a structure or your program can use to perform the same task multiple times rather than coding it out by hand every time, which I'll show you when we do live coding. Functions are structure you can use in your program to reuse bits of code throughout the program, like a reusable code. And lastly, running your program. You learn how to run your program by entering commands into the glitch console. The best way to learn code is to code. I always tell my students the same thing, that you have to code. You cannot read the code. So let's set up glitch. Great, you're signed up. Now let's get the code. To get the code, go to the URL that is mentioned in the description below. Click Remix Your Own to make your own version. This will allow you to follow along with the workshop as I write the code, so you can write the code with me. So if you are with me so far, you should see something similar to what I'm seeing on my glitch interface. So this is where we are going to write and run our code. So to explain you in the hindsight, on your left hand side, this is project files. On your bottom of this page, you have tools. Tools is where you have your terminal where we run our Python scripts. And if you notice, Python scripts have the file extension of .py, like HTML have .html, or CSS have extension of .css, or like Excel has .xls, or PDF, something like that. So Python has .py. And to run a Python script, we need to type Python space variables.py or any other file name and hit enter, and we will see output in a terminal window. So to start with, let's start with variables.py because that is the building blocks of information in any programming language. So go ahead and click on variables.py. So again, variables store some data. Remember, variables store some data like numbers or text. We can create variables, give them values, and modify those values later. So let's create some variables. So for first, a variable with an integer. So what can that be? My age can be a variable with an integer. So I'm gonna create a variable, my age, and I'm going to give it a value of 27. So that's my variable name, and that's the value of the variable. And the second is a variable with a string that can be my name. So my name is, so remember, the string always goes in quotations, and integer doesn't go in quotation. They can live without quotation too. Now, how can we print this value? How can we display the value in our terminal? To do that, Python has a print function. So you print. So there are a couple of ways you can print the variables. The first is plain simple. Don't do anything, just my age. So this will print out the value 27. And the other way is to create a greeting. So again, it's a string, right? So hello space. I'm going to add a space, so hello Adesh, and I'm going to concatenate two words. So hello and Adesh. So my variable for Adesh is my name, and I'm going to do a concatenation and add an exclamation mark. So hello Adesh. So if it's correct, you should print out hello Adesh. Now to run our code, we need to go to tools, terminal, and this is a console. So this is where we run our code. So this is run our scripts. So this is console. To run our scripts, remember Python space the file name, which is so for our situation it is variables.py. So variables.py and hit enter, and we will have a desired output, which is 27, my age, and the other way to display our output is hello, my name, exclamation mark, which is hello Atesh. So this is a simple way you can do it. Now, to experiment after this workshop, I want you to experiment with different math operators. I'll do one math operator for you. So I'm going to do A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5. So what's the value of C after A minus B? So my formula will be C is equal to A minus B, and if I print my C, I should get the value of 5. And to run the Python scripts, Python, and the file name, which is for our situation right now, is variables.py. Hit enter, and we have our desired output 5. So go ahead after this workshop, create a different play around with different math operators. Do a subtraction, addition, division, and multiplication. So let's talk about functions. A function allows us to reuse a block of code over and over. You've already used a few without realizing it. Print and format are Python functions. Functions have a few features. Name. Functions have a name, and when we type the name, we use the function. Parameters, on the other hand, we can give the function a variable or multiple to use, a multiple variable to use. When we use the print function, everything inside the brackets is used by the function. So let's go ahead and write some functions. So click on functions.py. And so let's write the code first, and then I'll explain it to you what does the code do. So we're gonna do your name. Let's say the name is I don't know. It's difficult to come up with names. Crocodile. No. That. Your name is John Doe. Just to be on the safe side, John Doe. And I'm gonna do define a function. So define, say hello, and I'm gonna pass a parameter of a name, a colon. I'm gonna print header and now I'm gonna do say hello, your name. Okay. So what is this line? So what is this line 4 and 5 are? So this is our function. So this line 4 and 5 is our function. We use define keyword to start a function. We give it a name, say hello, and a parameter of name. Notice that line 5 is indented under line 4. Anything that comes later that is not indented, it is not part of the same function. Like line 7, this is not part of the function. So we call the function by typing its name and giving a value to the parameter. Whichever parameter we give the function is used, this is called passing the variable to the function. So this is the passing the variable to the function. So what we have done is we have passed the variable into the function. So if we run this program now, if we run the script now, our output should be hey there. So our output should be hey there, John. Hey there, John. So that should be our output. But let's check if that's correct. Yep, there you go. So we have hey there, John Doe as our output. So again, this is called passing the variable into the function. So we have declared the variable outside the function, and now we are passing the variable inside the function. So this is called passing the variable into the function. Now I have a little challenge for you. After this workshop, write a function that takes two parameters, multiplies them together, and prints the result. I've also done a simple example for you here. I'm defining my function. I pass parameter 1 and parameter 2, and you can do things with parameter 1 and parameter 2. So you can have definition multiplication. Parameter 1 is your x and y, and then you can do x times y, and then you can pass the variable over here. So work on that challenge and let me know what are your thoughts are. So we are going places. Cool. Now we know a little bit about functions. Let's talk about loops. So click on loops.py. What do you think this code does? To test it, let's enter Python loops.py. Oh. So we had to write 10 separate lines to code to get this thing to print day 1, day 2, etc. However, the only thing different on each line was number. Imagine if we had to print 100 days. This would be awful. Is there a better way? Yes, there is. Loops. Sometimes in programming, you want to do same task over and over again. A loop is an easy way to tell your program to do that. So we're gonna comment this out, and we're going to write a loop. So for number in range 10, print day dot format num. I'll explain to you in 1 second. What does it do? So I'm gonna print out this loops script. There we go. Our script printed out day in line 10 times. Not bad for 2 lines of code, eh? Not bad in 2 lines of code. However, notice anything wrong? Loops.py only printed up to day 9. Why did this happen? Because when using a range loop in Python, it prints up to but not including the number in parentheses. This is called an off by 1 error because our program did what we wanted to do except for one number. So how can we get loops.py to print through day 10? Simple. We're just gonna change number 10 to number 11. And if we run our program again, we'll have a desired output. So day 0, 1, 2, 3, and day 10. So again, for number in range of 11, print day number 11. So that's the basic for loop. So this is loops.py. We are making a great progress. Let's move on to list. So list variables. So in list, variables store a single value. What if we wanted to have a list of related variables, like a list of names or phone numbers? This is where list come in handy. In other programming languages, you might find them called arrays. You might find them called arrays. So let's go to list.py, and let's create some list. So we're going to create names, and I'm going to create planets. So there can be multiple planets. So there's Mercury, Venus, Earth, and then we have Mars. Okay, and let's print. Let's see how does it look. So let's do print names, a variable, and let's print planets, and let's see what does the output come. So to run a Python script, Python list.py, and we have nothing, an empty list, and we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars as our list. Now, how can I add a value into my list? So there's a function in Python which goes by append functions, which looks like this. So you have planets dot append, a function, and the value which we want to add after Mars. Append will end after the list, like the end. So it's like a new. So let's append Jupiter, and also let's append planets dot append Saturn, and let's print our planets. Let's see what do we have. So if we are right, we should have two more planets added to our main list after Mars. That will be Jupiter and Saturn. So I'm going to run my script, which is Python list.py, and voila, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So we have successfully appended 2 new planets into our master list, which is great. Now, if we print our list, we'll get all our contents. What if we only want a single value from the list? Thankfully for us, Python lists maintain an index of their contents. This means we can access a value by its index number. So what I mean by that, in index number, it will be, the array always starts with 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's like 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's our index number. That's what I mean. So array always starts with 0. That's our index number. Now, how can I retrieve the data using the index number, only one planet? Well, that's simple. So what we'll do is print parentheses and my index number, which is, so let's say I want to print Venus. So I'll write index number 1, because 0, 1, 2, 3. And if I run my program again, I should have my desired output as Venus, as you can see here. Or remember, list starts at index 0. To a computer, 0 is perfectly usable number. Try printing out planet 0 instead. So let's print out 0 and let's see what we get. We'll have Mercury, because 0, 1, 2, 3, yeah. And challenge for you is to loop through list So how can you loop through a list? So that's a challenge for you, but I'm going to show you quickly how can you do how. So I'm going to show you quickly how can you loop over the list. So let's say for planets. So for planet in our master list, on our master list planets, print planet. So what we did here is for each planet in all our planets, we want to print each planet. So if we run this program again, so we'll have each planet, Mercury. Oh yeah, because we printed this. So let's comment this out. And if we run that program again, yeah, we'll have Mercury, Venus, Earth, list, and Saturn. So this is looping through list. So this is what we call looping through list. We are flying through this. Let's talk about importing. So let's go click on importing imports. Let's go ahead and click on imports.py. So as you've seen so far, Python has a lot of inbuilt functions like print, range, format. Sometimes we want to extend a functionality of Python by using functions that someone else has written for specific purpose. These are called modules. We can even import other Python files we've written ourselves, so we can use their functions. Let's import an external module like a random number generator. So let's generate a random number by importing a random module created by someone else. So how we do that is you do import random, and then you print. I'm going to print my random numbers. So my random, I'm calling my thing random dot rand int. This basically, so this randit function comes from the random module has a function called randit, which is randit, which goes by random integer. So like random int, so like random integer, and I want in the range of 0 to 100. So what this will do, so I'm gonna have a start point and the end point. So this will generate a random whole number between 0 and 100. So if I run my Python imports.py, it will generate random number in between 0 to 100. If I run it again, I have a different number. If I run it again, I have a different number. You see my point, you get my point, right? So this is how you import a module into your project. We've learned a lot today. How about we put all this together? So far, we've learned about variables, loops, lists, functions, importing, and more. Let's write a script that combines this idea. Open up challenge.py, and after this workshop, give it a try. So for this exercise, we are asking to see a 10 list of random numbers. The first list will have 0 items, the second will have 1 item, and the third will have 2 items, etc. Each list item will have a random integer between 0 and 100. If we print all of the list, it should look something like this. So in short, this is what the final output should look like. It doesn't look hard enough. We can do it. We have also provided hints for you over here. So after this workshop, take a break, recharge yourself, and if you find some time today or tomorrow, do this challenge because it will really empower you in some ways. That means that you really learned something. And also remember, it's also important to remember that coding problems have lots of different solutions. So don't worry, be creative. So let's recap where to go from here. Python is a programming language you can use for data analysis and artificial intelligence. Python tools you can use include functions, lists, and loops. We can extend Python functionality even further by importing modules. Now, where to go from here? Check your email for lots of resources to keep learning. Edit the part of the file that prints out the timeline however you want. Take the second workshop because this was the first workshop where we got the basic understanding of Python. In our second workshop, we will dive in much more deeper to reach our final goal, that is to create a natural language bot for your favorite Twitter celebrity. So make sure you take the second workshop and then the third workshop so that you are in the whole three series workshop. With that, thank you so much, and I hope I will see you in the second workshop. Thank you.